I'm going to show you how to install VLC on a Centos server. You may be wondering why you would want to install Video Lan Player on a server. VLC is quite a bit more sophisticated than you think. It actually has streaming capabilities. Basically what you can use it as a server. You know what I'm saying? Literally. You can stream audio, video, and even live audio and video if you know how to use it. So that was a project of mine. So on Centos, it is a Red Hat Linux distribution, and so you're going to want to use yum. And there's basically 3 commands that you need in order to install VLC Video Lan Player onto a Centos 7. This is for Centos 7 server. Alright, the first command you want to perform is the REPL. So basically you can either su into your root account or you can use sudo. Sudo will elevate your privileges and it will ask you to enter in your root password. It's up to you. So you're going to want to install the EPL repository if it's not already installed or enabled. What the command, and I will show you, yum install EPL release. So on screen you should see it. It's yum space install space EPEL dash release, RELEASE. You would hit enter. I'm not going to, because actually my server already have VLC installed and I don't want to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? Chances are it'll just say it's already installed, or excuse me, enabled. Install, enable, whatever. Alright. Now you're going to enable the RPM Fusion free software repository, and chances are on your Centos 7 you could probably use these instructions for other versions of Centos. They may not be exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? The repositories might be a little bit different. That might require you to actually study, you know what I'm saying, perform some internet searches. This is not the easy button, you know what I'm saying? This isn't that dumb shit capitalistic commercial from, what, a decade ago? No. Alright. Like I said, you could also type in, instead of yum, you would type, well, excuse me, instead of just yum install, you would go back and also include sudo. If you're not logged in as root, sudo will elevate your privileges without logging in as root. But every time you type in a command with sudo, you have to type in your root password. Okay, so let me show you the next command. And this is a lengthy command, just because the RPM Fusion repository is actually an address. So I'll paste it. Oops. I'll add in a Y. So yum space install space and then that long uniform resource locator with including the S for secure. Hypertext transfer protocol secure. ://download 1.rpmfusion.org/free/l/rpmfusion-free-release-7. This 7, I believe, is for Centos 7. .noarch.rpm. In my blog post, I will include the 3 commands verbatim. Like I stipulated before, you might be able to use this for other versions of Centos server, and that URL, uniform resource locator, might just be a little bit different. And then also, once again, I'm already logged in as root, so that's why I prefer to SU, which means super user, and then always be logged in as root whenever I use the root account, and then exit out of my root account when I'm not needing root privileges. So you would type in sudo, and then it'll prompt you to enter in your root password. And then you would hit enter, and it should install the RPM Fusion repository. Then the last command is pretty short. You just type in, let me clear this, you just type in yum install. Now, you might want to pay attention. You think that you can just type in yum install VLC? No. Remember, this is for a server version. My server has no graphical user interface. You know what I'm saying? It's the server version, so there is no graphical user interface. So it's going to have to require a different type of VLC installation, which is VLC core. And let me get that command. On screen, yum install VLC, but you want to type in -core. That will install a server version where you don't need a graphical user interface. It's all command line. VLC is pretty powerful, actually. It can stream audio, video, it can even, well, I use it to loop. It can even loop. Let's say you have a podcast or some audio you want to stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It'll keep looping that. If you know how to, properly configure it, it will just keep playing that stream for you. And it's entirely free. And it's pretty reliable, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so then you would hit enter, and let me make sure that should be the correct command. It's just pretty simple. Let's see, where's it? Oh yeah, VLC-core. Yep. If you are running a headless server without a graphical user interface, instead of VLC, install the VLC-core package. That's it. And then you would hit enter. It can take a while, and it's quite large actually, so you know what I'm saying. You'll see a bunch of output, you'll see some download, some dependencies, what else, some unpackaging, and then the installation of those packages. As long as you don't see any errors, and it should take you back to the command prompt, you know what I'm saying. Let me include the sudo. Again, if you are not logged into your root account and you would prefer just to be prompted every time, sudo sudo space yum space install space VLC-core, enter, bam. It should start installing. And that's the 3 commands that I entered in, and I actually have VLC installed on a Centos 7 server. Eight minutes, excellent. Anything further? Let me read these notes real quick that you cannot see. Yeah, the latest version was 3 something. There's probably more recent version. Since you installed those, enabled the FL repository, and then you also installed the Fusion free software repository, once in a while you will have some VLC updates. All you do is type in, I may include that command in my blog post, I haven't written it yet, just yum upgrade, you know what I'm saying? And then, just as a caveat, let's see. Yes, just type in yum update. And it'll look similar to this. I'm not going to show you the entire yum command because on this server it's not really the fastest. But that's all you type in is yum space update. And what that will, it will check for any updates on your Centos server. And one of those updates might be VLC. And if there's a VLC update, you just type in yes. When it asks you, do you want to install, blah, 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 the update, it'll even tell you the exact version in the actual file. And then depends on how, it just take a few seconds or minutes or whatever, depends on your internet connection and blah blah blah. On the updates, there may or may not be some dependencies. So these software get quite large, even like VLC, and sometimes they add in new features, and that's an entirely separate piece of software actually called a dependency, and it will have to get installed. Or sometimes other pieces of software that, for example, Lan Player uses will have an update as well, and then it'll ask you to install that or update it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Those 3 commands should allow you to install VLC Core, the core version, which is the server version, on Centos 7 server without a graphical user interface. Adios.